You're listening to Rewatch Culture, the podcast where we circle back and talk about our favorite Black TV shows that raised us, healed us, and angered us in many ways, but they are always going to live rent-free in our minds. I'm your host, Shanae, your resident elder millennial and professional rewatcher. Let's get into it. Family, welcome back to Hillman. We are officially stepping into season 2. And baby, the glow up is real. That theme song got some soul in it. Okay, they put a little bit of seasoning on that thing. But the campus feels more like a real HBCU, and the energy is just totally different. And listen out there, that is not by accident. We're going to talk about a little bit of behind the scenes shakeups that made this season feel brand new. Let's get into episodes 1 and 2 because the gang is already acting up. Episode 1, the first thing I noticed again is that theme song. It was giving authentic HBCU vibes instead of like a brochure friendly, when you went to college and you saw those brochures and it was all about diversity and whatnot, but really it wasn't. This theme song and intro felt real. And I love at the end when the students actually graduate and they throw their hats up. This is the first time I was actually excited to watch an episode. And the vibe shift that you're feeling, that's kudos to Debbie Allen. Okay, the producers brought her in to save the show, literally. Season 1 wasn't hitting the way they wanted it to, and we all know it. I talked about it in the season 1 recap. So they handed Debbie the keys and said, fix it. And she did. She brought real energy, real Black culture. She said Hillman needed to feel like a place Black students actually recognize. And honey, she delivered. So kudos to you, Debbie. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Denise is gone. And if you know the behind the scenes tea of the show, you know that Miss Lisa Bonet was pregnant and Mr. Cosby was not going to write that into the storyline. So Hillman moves on without her. And this might be an unpopular opinion, but I was okay with it. Listen, I've told y'all I'm a Whitley girl, so I'm glad that the attention started going more towards Whitley, and I'll just leave it at that. Speaking of Miss Whitley, she has a new roommate, Kim, and she is not pleased because Kim picked the bed that Whitley wanted. Whitley is whining that this bed is a family tradition. Her mom had it, her mother's mom had it, her cousin Alicia had it. Just being dramatic and over the top. She's asking Kim about her family, and Kim says that her father is a cop. And Whitley's response is, I just love Hill Street Blues. Listen, some things never change with Whitley. She was always going to be exactly who she was. Now, Kim, I loved Kim instantly. Kim is smart, she is a firm personality, and she is not scared of Whitley at all. She is going to give Whitley as good as she gets. You can already tell, she doesn't care to put Whitley in her place. Whitley needed somebody to gather her real quick, okay? So super excited just to see what else Kim is going to bring to this series. She's grounded, she's focused, and she's a hustler. She went to Mr. Gates and she got that job. She's about her business. So much respect goes to Kim. Now, Freddie. Oh, Lord. Freddie is the new flower child. She's part Denise, part Maggie. She's free-spirited, whimsical, and just floating through Hillman like she's powered by incense and herbal tea. Make it make sense, honey. And speaking of Miss Maggie, they did not bring her up one time in these 2 episodes, which honestly is real life. I can't tell you how many roommates I had in college, and some of them left and just never heard from, never talked to them again. So I will say that Hillman kept it realistic in that aspect. There are some people that you go to college with that you are meant to be friends with forever, and some people that you're meant to be friends with for a season. That's just the way it happens. But Miss Freddie meets Dwayne, and she decides that she's in love with Dwayne after knowing him for 10 minutes. Let me repeat that. 10 minutes. Again, proof that there's somebody out there for everybody. Speaking of Dwayne has to take a calculus class. And there's this big thing around campus. Colonel Taylor, they call him Dr. War. Everybody is afraid to take this man's classes. Now, Dwayne is a math wizard. He is a genuinely smart guy, but he's doubting himself so hard, he's basically having imposter syndrome. He's thinking he's a fake, like he doesn't belong in the hard classes, like he's not as smart as everyone else thinks he is, which is wild because we all know that Dwayne's mind is brilliant. Now, is he trash with the ladies? 100%. But his mind, he's so smart. So he tries to get the coach, who's played by Sinbad. He tries to get him to pull some strings to get him out of Dr. War's class. But the coach, he knew exactly what Dwayne needed. He goes straight to Colonel Taylor, aka Dr. War, and he gets him to work with Dwayne instead of letting him run away from the challenge. And let's be real, that's life. You grow when you're uncomfortable. If you stay status quo all the time, you don't stretch yourself. You don't push yourself. The coach knew exactly what Dwayne needed, and it worked because Dwayne, instead of switching classes and taking the easier class, took Dr. War's classes, and he said, hurry up and register me for this class before I change my mind. Side note that has nothing to do with anything, Jaleesa's back and arms, impeccable. Mama was in the gym. So I just want to say she looked good. Now, episode 2, we open in debate class, and the students are going back and forth like they're fighting on threads. If you know, you know. They have a partner paper that's worth 35% of their grade. Side notes, I hate group projects. It never failed that somebody in the group project did not hold their weight. Somebody else always slacked. If I'm going to get a bad grade, let it be because I didn't put in the work, not because somebody else sat on their lazy behind and didn't do anything, not going for it. Originally, Dwayne is thinking about partnering with Sam, who's the guy that he was just going back and forth with in debate class. And Ron is like, I'm deeply hurt. And Dwayne hits him with, nothing about you is deep. Which is rude to say to your friend, but honestly, it was very real. Ron is just, again, floating through campus, trying to hit on every girl he sees. Speaking of, him and Millie must have broken up because he's moved on to Noelle. Freddie comes in the library. And when I tell you the outfit that she had on, it was like somebody took every paintbrush color that they had and just threw it on that dress. It was just not a good look, but it was very fitting for Freddie. We'll give her that. So Freddie, she's Dwayne's freshman year energy in girl form. She's doing absolutely too much. She's coming in the library. She's like clacking her nails against things. She's like throwing herself up against the wall just to get Dwayne to pay her some attention. Dwayne is not giving her any type of attention at all. So she finally goes and talks to him, and he calls her Fred or Frank, or he calls her the wrong name basically. And then she says, Freddie. He said, see, I knew it was a guy's name. Oh my God, Dwayne, I cannot with you. But that's Freddie. And she has a job interview. So she's trying to get a job at the pit, which Kim ended up getting the job. Kim had experience. Freddie couldn't even peel a potato. Good Lord in heaven. But Kim told her stick to her guns. And she told Mr. Gaines, I'm going to be a pest until you get this job. Give me this job because I want to work here. So Mr. Gaines has another thing coming for him. Ron and Dwayne are supposed to be working on this paper. Ron, my God, when I tell you he was getting on my last nerves, first he's 2 hours late to when him and Dwayne are supposed to meet up because Ron was spending his time with Noelle. No apologies for it. Ron buys this paper instead of doing the work. So Dwayne and Ron get into it. And when I tell you Dwayne was really coming for him, he let everything that he had been holding back out. He was really rude to Ron. Ron pissed me off, but Dwayne didn't have to go as hard as he did. Jaleesa talks to him and she's like, don't you think you were a little rough on him? And like, usually you're with his antics, this, that, and the third. Like, do you want a friend? Here's the thing. I was with Jaleesa for some of that. You do not have to treat your friend like that. You can talk to them in a respectful way. But also, at the end of the day, I'm here at college trying to get an education. I'm not just trying to make friends. So my friend should meet me halfway and not BS our grade. Work with me. Buying a paper is absolutely unacceptable because we could get kicked out of school for this. What do you mean? Just buckle down and do the work. Ron and Dwayne end up talking at the pit. And Dwayne is like, you know what? We'll use your paper and we'll go to this party and hang out like, like old boys, like what we do. And then he sends Dwayne to get them some food. And Whitley comes down the steps with her paper and she's like, oh, me and my partner just finished it. And she leaves it on the table and she goes into the pit. Ron can't help himself. He looks at the paper and he realizes, oh my God, she has the same paper that I bought already. We actually have to do some work. So he tells Dwayne this, and they spend all night writing this paper, which, by the way, right now I can't even remember the title of the paper that they were writing. But when Dwayne said it, I was like, Yep, over my head. I had no idea what that paper was going to be about. They stay up all night, get this paper done, and they go into class. And here is the setup. Whitley comes in and she's talking about her and her partner are talking about the title of the paper that they wrote. And Ron's like, "What are you talking about? What happened to this title?" And they were like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And they start laughing. And Whitley's like, "Right, Dwayne?" So at this point, we all realize that Dwayne set Ron up. Him and Whitley worked together to make Ron think that they both had the same paper so Ron would get off his behind and actually do some work. They got him good. They got me good too, because for a minute I was pissed off at Dwayne. Why would you put your future in jeopardy like this and use this paper that's plagiarism and you guys could get caught and thrown out of school? So I'm glad that they were tricking him. That is how that episode ends. We got a little bit of chaos, some lessons, and some petty justice. It was worth it. But our rewatch revelations, growth happens in discomfort. Dwayne stepping into calculus is the first sign of him becoming the man he's meant to be. And it's just great to watch that throughout the season. Now, is he going to upset us again? If you know, you know. Yes, he will. Roommates are temporary. The lessons are forever. Maggie disappearing without mention, honestly, that's college. Hey, we're 19, 20 when we're going to college. We're cool one day and then we never see each other again. So I didn't think that was out of the ordinary. For a TV show, it was. They probably should have mentioned her, but that's real life. Friendship requires boundaries. Dwayne can love Ron and still refuse to carry him academically. They need to meet each other halfway on that. Your education is important to you. And Dwayne also doesn't have to speak down to Ron. He can tell him in a loving manner, "Hey, this is what I need from you. This is what we have to do to get this to work." In the show right now, identity shifts are happening. So Freddie is the new free spirit archetype. Kim is the grounded achiever, and Whitley is learning to share space, literally and emotionally. So can't wait to keep watching that. Debbie Allen changed the DNA of the show. Season 2 feels real because she made it real, culturally, musically, visually, and emotionally. As we get throughout this season, we're going to see more and more of that. As you guys know, I always like to pick my line of the week, and this week it's going to Dwayne Wayne with his "Nothing About You is Deep." All right, family. Season 2 is already giving us that new energy, some new characters, and some new mess. We're back at Hillman, and I cannot wait to see what the gang has in store for us next. Thanks for catching up. Bye.